Hello everyone, this is your host the Cowboy, and it is Monday the 21st of March, and welcome to Elliott with Cafe chart of the day. Today's story, it's going to focus on ADA or Cardano, as known in the crypto community, and I've asked Twitter this morning what would they like to see, and we've had a couple of reactions there that people would like to see ADA, and I thought I'd jump on it. You just heard the closing bell here, so which means I'm recording it at about 3 o'clock my time here in Chicago. And I wanted to jump in and take a look and see what's happening with this crypto pair that had a tremendous run since March of 2020 all the way back here to the summer of last year, where it almost hit $3 and a little bit higher than that. So we had a pretty strong move, and it's been in a corrective pattern since. So one of the things that I do into the pro room, and I offer my clients and my members there, it is a chart room where we take a look at all the large crypto pairs, top 10, top 12, and we try to give a longer term outlooks in where we are in the sequence in that particular pair. And I combine cryptos with, the equities and maybe a little bit of Forex and commodities as well, so we can have a vision of what's going on there. So what you're looking at here, you're looking at a naked chart, an empty chart of ADA without any label counts. And I'm sure if if you're a crypto fan and an Elliott Wave fan, you've tried to count this numerous times, and it is. It is a pretty clean count. However, it becomes a little bit trickier from this highs to this lows, which is the area that we're going to focus on. But I do also want to kind of follow through what happened from here all the way to the top, and kind of what was our process in kind of running this trend to the upside. So I'm going to go up here into my photos, my software here that looks at the what I've had saved in the chart room back from last year. And I'm missing a little bit of data here, which it doesn't really matter, but we're starting to count from this low and we're moving up to the high, and this was back in June 6th 2021. So we were following this approach. We identified even earlier some fourth wave formations back in here, looking at this move to extend a little bit higher, and it finally stopped up here at about 161.8 at 3 versus 1. So this was, a pretty major clue that ADA is going to fall into some kind of a fourth wave pattern that could take, several weeks to several months to unfold in a comparison with this wave 2 back in here. So this wasn't about June 6th. This was part of our updates in there. So we're looking at this impulse as a wave 1 down in 2, and then you can see in here that you have the move in a 1, 2, 1, 2, let's say 3, 4, and 5. So you needed another 4 and another 5 in here. And just by kind of looking at it, it did not seem complete. It seemed that, there was a large correction here that still did not unfold. So let's see kind of how we're approaching that. And even if you kind of step back again, you can see, even just considering this third wave finished in there, you can look 1, 2, and you do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe that's all the third, right? Then that fourth here belongs to the second in here, right? And that kind of gives you a complete sequence. So there were a couple of ways to kind of still think that maybe this third wave would push higher, or it would be complete based on the fib projection that we've hit almost exactly. So the next slide kind of shows you what happened next here. Fourth wave, there was an expectation, coming back here, right? That was the high. And here we are kind of falling apart in this fourth wave. So this took a little bit of time. I mean, you're looking at this in May, and you're coming all the way to maybe August, September before this fourth wave reached the low at 102.02 in Cardano. So again, just wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, and then a wave 5. In our presentations there, in our updates, said that wave 5 has started, and we weren't sure how long this is going to travel. And that's why, because you're in an uptrend and you're comparing it with the wave 1, you wanted to give this wave 5 as much room as possible to travel to the upside. So instead of labeling a top in here, you can allow for another wave 1 of 5 in progress instead of the entirety of the fifth wave to be here. but you also have to recognize that every time you move above a third wave, in a new high, that fifth wave could terminate at any point. So this move in here looked pretty complete, right? Either as a fifth or as a wave 1 of 5. So we label it as an alternate with the wave 1 and wave 2 in here, thinking that possibly this move will continue higher. Now, in terms of trading this, this was a sign that you could start to, if you've enjoyed a rise higher in prices, there is a sign in here, something that the market can tell you, well, you might ease off positions because this move can terminate at any time. If you still want to enjoy a push higher here, right, you might be doing so with a quarter of your position or with half of the coins that you own or with all of them if you want to take that risk. It's just a personal preference. But there is not really a way of knowing that this was the top in ADA at the moment. So we've had this as an alternate, we kind of caution on that, and then we pull back, and here is what happened next. You went down, and this move kind of started to extend lower. Where the moment this happened, and this did not continue to push to the upside as we thought it was going to do, the moment you started to break below these levels in here, which were important for the second wave pullback, my thinking started to shift that already a wave 2, and this was part of our updates, it was very likely that wave 2 is already in progress, which means that a wave 5 top was already found. So you're looking at a 1, 2, 3, 4, and up in 5. This correction started to be too big. Now, sure, you can have a 1, 2, but the premise of that, the prospects of that were very, very unlikely. Look at the size of this wave 2, or the size of this decline for that matter, compared with this wave 1. Look at the fact that the trend line here has been broken to the downside. So things were starting to fall out of favor, that ADA was able to rally and continue in some kind of a bullish move to the upside. And all you have to do is just look at the rest of the cryptos as well, that there could be some interesting things happening in here. Now, mind you, you were coming into some strong support in here. There was a little bit of time still, a little bit of space still until that support was going to get hit. So plus there was no indication on any rallies that you were going to be able to kind of take these highs and call an end of this correction. So as the market kind of progressed further, here we are, let's say in December 5th when I was doing this update, and the next one comes here on January 23rd. So just about a month, month and a half later, where, with a lot of conviction now, we started to identify the fact that now this support has been tested and the likelihood that this wave 2 might continue to kind of sell off even lower. Based on the fact that this correction here is still fairly short and fairly shallow compared with this old move. So if you're looking at this advance from this lows to this highs as being a very strong impulsive move, this correction, it seems insufficient in terms of size and depth to correct this whole advance. And I made a note here, to the members. I said into the chart room, it says wave 2 appears in progress. It seems rather short compared with the length of wave 1. So I expect further corrective type price section. A move above 233 in here would start to indicate that wave 3, right, of this degree could already be underway. But that never really happened. I think the market rallied a little bit, but we weren't able to kind of get past above those levels. So this was, almost a couple of months ago when I've done this update. And then, since then, we just kind of threaded water in the second wave. I think the next update, we didn't have one. And I'm, just kind of waiting to see when this wave 2 is going to finish, right? So we are 2 months later. Last time we've done it was, again, somewhere up, I think, into this neighborhoods, right back in here. This was around January 23rd back in here. We've made a new low, right, which means that wave 2 is still in progress. I don't have any confidence yet that this wave 2 is complete. I can analyze the structure inside this decline, but until some of these levels start to get attacked, right, there is no way of knowing if this wave 2, you don't have enough evidence yet to tell you that, yeah, you'll possibly be done. You might be, and we're going to go ahead and try to dive inside these legs and see kind of how they, how they unfold, but the pricing is still in a downtrend in here, right? So that's why I'm probably not going to do another update until I'm seeing this market start to push out of here to get a confident move, to get a confident feedback from the market that this wave too low has already been found and it's already back here. And what's going to happen from there on out, it's anybody's guess. It could be a larger third wave, it could be, I don't know, a B wave, whatever. It could be a flat for that matter. Maybe that's an A, and you're going up in a B, and then you're going to sell off in a C. So there's all kind of ways that this could, unfold forward. But the question is, are we ready to rally? Are we ready to challenge this 310 highs once again? And how does that happen? So let's dive inside the structure and see how this looks. So I'm going to go here, and this is what I came up with. And it's a heavy count. It's a difficult decline, I must say. Right in here, there's a lot of ways in here where the market kind of shifted, back and forth. And just when you thought the correction was complete, it wasn't. Right? It kind of fell back apart. Then you thought, hey, maybe it's complete again, and then it fell apart again. So we're still making, lower lows in here and lower highs into this larger decline as part of a second wave. But, things start to look interesting in here. I mean, even though I'm thinking that we're still maybe a little bit premature, there could be a way to kind of analyze this and say that this could be done. You're creating a little bit of a rounding bottom in here. You're starting to act a little bit more impulsive. You might get a little bit of a divergence, but still the price is not very convincing yet. So let's see if we can get above those levels first. Maybe that happens in 5 waves. Let's see if we can attack this trend line in here. Break above it, come back, do a little bit of a dance in here where the market starts to look, look, just by kind of drawing this out, you're noticing an inverted head and shoulder in here, right? Where this is your head, this is the market trying to create a bottom, moving higher, coming back, retesting the neck. I mean a pullback, a 618 pullback to the left shoulder on the right-hand side, and then you can, more confidently say, I think, now I can throw some money at this thing. And this is what I do all day long. I'm looking for, in every asset that we're looking at, that's a type of formation that kind of shows you that you might have a low. It's very rare that you're going to get this type of a V recovery without the necessarily pullback, where you're going to shoot, straight up higher. So let's go back and look at these highs, right? And I can see, a little bit of a decline here in 3 waves. You can go in this and think about it, that you're not even paying attention to anything from these levels this way, right? Let's say that the market, it's just, you don't have the data. You're seeing a 3-wave decline. Well, that's good. I mean, this could be a wave 2, off a wave, of an entirely 5th wave up, right? You can look at this as a 1, as a 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now you're looking back at the market and you're noticing that instead it kind of does this. Then you say, well, I think that this correction, it's not really working out. It's not doing this, what I'm supposed to be expecting, but instead is moving sideways. So that's a signal to you that this is actually, possibly a W wave or a, let's say wave A of a flat or something like that, but it's not going to rally. So instead, the market just kind of moved sideways, and what it did, it created a flat move in here. You go up in A, in here, and then you do a triangle in B, in here, right? So you go, let's say wave A, down in B. So you do A, triangle B, down in C for a B wave. So that's your B. Up in, so this is the A wave or X, then A, B, C for B, and then a C wave in here, which is, still a little bit funky kind of looking, if you ask me. Maybe there is a diagonal in here, something like that, where you're 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, like an expanding type C wave that finishes this X wave in there, right? So you go W once again, A, B, C for a flat in wave X, and then you sell lower in this wave Y, and that sells off in an A, up in B, and then down in C for a wave Y, right? Can you get behind this count? 1, 2, 1, 2, maybe 3, 4, and 5. You can do that, and I'm okay with it. You can do a 1, 2, 3, small 4 in here. We gotta watch for a little bit of overlap. I'm not sure, but 4 and 5. I mean, 3rd, 4th, and 5th in here. So I think still that it's a pretty good impulse So let me just kind of jump back because that's a B wave, cannot be a fourth. So let's look at that. So let's see, fourth and fifth, right? And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for A. So that's A, B, C. That's kind of, that's kind of how I'm seeing it. I mean, you can do a wave W in here, right here. You can do a wave W if you want, and look at this as a 3, 3, and then 5. But it's not a flat because you really haven't gone up to these highs, which is kind of what's required for a flat move. So that's why, it's a little trickier when you're looking at that. You might say to me, well, hey, Chris or Cowboy, this is, what if this is wave A of Y, and this is B of Y, and this is C of Y, but see, you got a 3-wave move in here. So let's say that you're looking at it like that. That's W, right? That's an X, and you only have, let's say in here, an A, B, C, right? Although how you count this as an A, B, C, I'm not sure, because you have problems, right? You can't really go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I mean, you could, but it's very ugly to count this whole move here impulsive, because you got to go A, B, C for a W. And to me, that's problematic, right? So that's why I'm coming up with my best interpretation. Sorry to kind of, go inside this deeply, but I'm giving you my reasoning, right? I'm decomposing this into all kind of ways to kind of come up with the best count, based on this decline, right? And if you're a beginner, this could be a little bit harder unless you understand complex corrections, right? Because they can unfold in several ways. But just so you know, in a wave W, you can have an ABC. You're not going to have a WXY. You're going to have an ABC. So this has got to be impulsive because it's a zigzag or some kind of a double 3. And I'm still kind of struggling to do that, to come up in an ABC move, because it's not a flat and it doesn't look like it can be a zigzag. So anyway, and then back in here, a Y wave could be fine because you can go in an ABC in here, and that could be, fine. But again, A, B, C, if that floats your boat, X, and then another A, B, C, and then you're done in a W, X, Y. But stay with me for a moment in here. Let's say that I'm correct, and this is a W, X, Y, X, Z. Look at this beauty here. Look at this, what I think it is, a nice expanding triangle in here. You go up in A, down in B, up in C, down in D, and then up in E. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that in terms of an expanding triangle in here. And it could be just a simple connector X wave, or if you float your boat, it could be that B wave that I was talking to you about in A, B, and then down, down in C in here, although you have a 3-wave move. So forget about that. But here is the thing, right? Now this looks good as a Z wave. A, B, and then you can make a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of here and do this. Right, so now it looks better as a Z, maybe as a 2. Are we done? Tough to say. I want this market to climb back above these levels. What if this Z wave, it still unfolds for some reason, right? What if I'm wrong and this is indeed a W, this is a big X in here, and I'm doing a 1, 2, 3, some kind of a 4th wave in here, right? And it's a, wave A still unfolds, I'm still doing a B and I'm still doing the C, and the second wave is still declining. See what I mean? You don't really know until you have more evidence from the price that the move actually is done. Because for right now, you're still kind of in a downtrend. It still seems a little bit short. I'm getting a little bit of an evidence from these counts in here that I could be done, right? I mean, they do look like kind of equal proportions in here. But let's see this market rally a little bit. Let's see it break above this trend line. Because if we're falling again up here to some kind of an X wave or some kind of a B wave, and you're falling apart again, right, that's going to tell you, guys, this is going to extend a little bit lower. And maybe by the time this whole decline is over, you're going to find yourself, at about 30 cents. And only then you start to rally again. So, close, but not fully convinced just yet on this one. So, I don't know if this video helped you to identify, how these complex corrections look. If it gives you a little bit, if it made this a little bit clearer in what I mean when I talk about, the sizes of a second wave compared with the wave one, in what I'm looking for, when I dissect this thing. So I'm looking for completion. I'm looking to see if I have equal waves in there. I'm looking to see if I can make sense of a count in the best way possible. But it is a hard count. It's a very hard count. But all I know one thing, that this decline in here does not belong to this rise. This has been completed back up into these levels, right? We're not going to count this as a flat in an A, B, and then some kind of a C wave, and then push back up higher. This does not fit my criteria for a right count. This move in here that's been done and completed up into these levels, and this decline, it's a different sequence. It's got nothing to do with this rise. This leg has completed. Now, this is going to be, second wave, or it's going to be wave A of a larger second. You can go like that, A, B, C, So this whole thing could be a big W, and you're getting a big X in here, and then sell lower again. But I think, we're slowly approaching an end to this move. And I'll leave it at that. I mean, I can talk about this all day long, but, I hope, this helped you guys out, and, you're able to kind of take something positive from this. Please let me know what you think, and, come and visit us into the program as well. Give this video a thumbs up, a like, share it with your friends. Hopefully all this rambling makes sense for you, and again, I appreciate you being here, and tomorrow we'll jump back at it, and we'll maybe take a look at some stocks or something else that's interesting. Any suggestions would be appreciated. It helps me, kind of come up with stuff for you guys that's maybe a little bit harder, and gives you a little bit better idea on kind of how to look at it. But thanks for watching, and I'll be talking to you later. Bye-bye.